Hey, what's up, Roxstars? It's Rox with a little bit of talk about what's at the top of the blog. So let's get to it. I say I'm gonna take some time off, y'all. All the cashiers, they was like, somebody stole her truck. It was like you could hear it all throughout the store. This Rox coming to you today with a review for Love and Marriage Detroit, Love and Marriage Huntsville, our book 4, Real Housewives of Atlanta. Let's get to it, shall we? All right, you guys, first story up. We're going to leave politics for the second half video because I have a feeling that we're going to be talking about politics that whole entire video. Let's get the bullshit out the well. Politics is a different kind of bullshit, but let's get this bullshit out the way first. First up, now you guys know I don't be following these damn stories on TikTok. I am really way too old to even be caring about what an Akira and a Brennay is over there doing, child, but you guys have been in my comments and my DMs talking about this story. One of the Roxstars reached out to me earlier in the week, like on Monday or something. It's like, Roxanne, have you been watching this story? And I've been like, girl, no. You know, I don't really be on TikTok unless I'm looking at RV, content, or unless I'm shopping. Otherwise, I don't really scroll just TikTok randomly. So anyway, she was just like, oh, girl, it's this big old story is blowing up about these TikTokers that, broke up and remarried, and it's a whole big scandal, and one is suing the other one, and this, that, and the other. And I was just like, okay, that shit sounds like, how old are they? Because they sound like they all under 30. And she was like, yeah, girl, they like mid to late 20s. I was like, that sounds about right. She was like, well, if you want me to tell you about the story, just go on and let me know. I could tell you wanted to tell me. So I was like, girl, go on and tell me. So she starts telling me about the story of Brennay and Akira. Apparently, Brennay and Akira were like best friends. Somebody is standing right in front of the car again. Now he's about to come over by here and see let's see if he gonna say something to me. He ain't saying nothing. He just walking in front of the car. Anyway, apparently Brennay and Akira were best friends. They were dating two guys that happened to be cousins, okay? And these two couples would share their lives on TikTok. Apparently, Brennay dated a long time ago the guy that now Akira was dating, okay? But then they broke up, and then Brennay ended up dating the cousin, okay? So follow me on the story. Now, I hope I don't fuck this story up because, again, I did not follow it. I'm just going by what I think I remember reading and what she told me. So anyway, Brennay was having problems with her husband. No, with her boyfriend. Were they married? I don't know. That's probably important to the story. Either she was or wasn't married, but Akira was definitely married to her husband. Okay. When Brennay started having problems with her man, she ended up moving in with Akira and her husband because that is Akira's best friend, remember? Well, when she moved in, apparently Brennay and the husband started messing around. And after, this affair went on, and this all was under the eyes of the TikTok viewers, Akira ended up breaking up with the husband, and Brennay and the husband ended up getting together. Now, Brennay has millions of followers on TikTok from what I understand. I think Akira also has a following, but not quite as large as Brennay's, or maybe she does. But anyway, so Akira went on with her life, and Brennay and the guy, the ex-husband of Akira's, they ended up getting together, and then they was flaunting their whole relationship on TikTok, and they just moved on with life, okay? And they were supposed to be real happy and all this. Well, Akira, who was married to this man who had kids by him, now she's upset about it. Somebody's coming to the car, child. Let me turn on this air. It's hot. Oh, shit, let's go. It's hot. Sorry about that, y'all. I had to do this. Child is hot, and I didn't bring my fan out here. Is it in the car? No, it's not in the car. I didn't bring my fan out here, so I had to, hold on. It's still hot, bitch. What? Ugh. Oh, Lord. Okay. Look, you see my face is all glossy and shit. Do I have any paper, any towels in here? Okay, anyway. Let me get on with the story. So, Brennay and the man, they have their relationship. Akira is over here upset because now she is no longer married. Her children no longer have their father in the house. And so she was like, I'm going to sue. Now, I don't know who she talked to, but she apparently must have talked to somebody who knew that this has happened in the past, that people have sued for this in the past and won. So Akira took herself down to the courthouse and filed this lawsuit, right? Alienation of affection, her kids now having to grow up in a non-two-parent household, hell, embarrassment on social media, just like all of this, right? So she sues the girl. Brennay apparently does not take this whole thing seriously, so she doesn't even get a lawyer. She is representing herself in court. You know what they say about that? A fool for a client, child. A fool for a client. And apparently in court, long story short, Brennay lost. Okay, to the tune of $1.75 million. Now, remember, she is a big-time TikToker, millions of followers, so I guess they're saying that she can afford it. I don't know how much, when people have millions of followers on TikTok, I don't know how much they make and everything, but yeah, I don't know if Akira will see that money, but anytime that Brennay comes into a large sum of money, Akira can get it now. I'm sure that Brennay, maybe she is going to now take it seriously and try to appeal. The real rock star lawyers, I'm putting y'all to work again. But you guys let us know, how does this work out? Like, is she able to appeal this and try to see if she can get this overturned? Yeah. But let this be a lesson to the women that are going around stealing husbands from wives. Yeah, you can get sued for that. Okay, they say that it's usually very hard to prove. So apparently Akira had a very good lawyer, or like I said, maybe it's just because Brennay did not have the representation that she should have had. But yeah, I also heard that, now I don't know this for a fact, but I heard that one of the ex-husband of Brennay, yeah, actually I think she was married, because I think they said that the ex-husband of Brennay is now suing the guy as well, the husband, the ex-husband of Akira. So, and now I bet you he's very incentivized to sue, because look at the payday that Akira just got. So now that husband is trying to sue the other one. Child, a hot ass mess. Okay. But yeah, that's the story. I was just like, I cannot believe that all this is going on all in front of TikTok. And then I saw Ashley had left a comment on Neighborhood Talk that said that one of them had the husband, the ex-husband of Akira, was also sleeping with her twin sister, and that the baby that the twin sister is pregnant with, or already had the baby or whatever, is the ex-husband of Akira's, which is her twin child. I was like, what the fuck why y'all watching this shit over there on Twitter? I mean on TikTok. Lord have mercy, you guys. It's a reality show just really happening right before our eyes, right there on social media. Anyway, child, that's the story on that. Like I said, all very young, but honey, that money is old and that money is long. 1.75 million, that ain't nothing to sneeze at, so we'll see what happens. But yeah, that's that on that. If you're gonna be stealing people's mans and vice versa, I guess you better know what you're doing, because honey, if they come after you, you might have to pay up. All right, y'all, let's move on. If I didn't get that story right, or whatever y'all need to add to it or fix, child, just go on and fix it, because you guys, like I said, I couldn't be bothered. I couldn't be, but I've been seeing it all over the place. All right, and I'm gonna move on to the next story. All right, you guys, next story up. A California appeals court has denied Tory Lanez's final attempt at overturning his conviction on the 2020 shooting of Meg Thee Stallion. You guys remember that he has been trying to get out. He's been trying to appeal. You know, him and his father, his family, they've been very adamant of trying to get him out of jail. And they even led a lot of people to believe that he was getting out of jail. It was just a matter of time. But the courts were like, nope, that's not what it's going to be. He is now going to have to serve pretty much his full 10 year. If not full 10 years, going to be somewhere close to that. Yeah, that's that on that. They said that this is the final appeal. Okay, because like I said, he's been trying for a while, and they probably put in other appeals, but this is the final appeal. This is a California appeals court. They had a panel of 3 judges. They all unanimously upheld the original conviction and time that was given to him, and so that is going to be that on that. I know that's probably a relief for Meg Thee Stallion to know that, you know, he won't be getting out, and at least she can breathe for the next, how long has he been in jail right now? I think a couple of years, so she can at least breathe for a couple of years, the next 8 years or so before she'll have to worry about him again. All right, that is that on that story, and let's move on to the next. All right, you guys, your girl Wendy Williams. Wendy Williams has been cleared of having frontotemporal dementia. Remember, you guys, that they were telling us that she had this, she had been diagnosed with this. This is the same diagnosis that Bruce Willis have. Now, we've been watching Bruce Willis, and that has been a sad story to watch, because Bruce Willis, you know, for the most part, we all love Bruce Willis, and I hate to see how he is suffering now, what his family is going through, you know, his poor wife and the kids and all that. Just sad to see, especially because Bruce Willis is not even that old, you guys. But I don't know if Bruce Willis came about this diagnosis from drinking as well, but we know that Wendy Williams, they were trying to say that she had this, and this was the reason why a judge had placed her under guardianship and had taken control of her financial affairs, amongst other things as well. They said that she had this, she had been diagnosed with this. She kept saying that she did not have it. Now, we saw the serious decline that Wendy Williams had in that documentary that they had, but we did also see in that documentary that they did for her that she was always fucking stone drunk. Okay, she also was addicted to vaping and everything, so she was always high and drunk out of her mind. And you know, we could have a conversation on whether or not the people around her at the time was making sure that they kept her that way so that they can live off of her dime or whatever it was. But we could tell that Wendy Williams definitely did not need to be in control of anything at that point. Okay, because it was just a matter of trying to keep this woman alive. But since that documentary, and everybody saw how alarmed, we all were just alarmed with what Wendy was going through, that was when the family stepped in. We saw that the niece was trying to help Wendy, the niece who was the reporter, you know, was trying to take over her affairs and all that. And she has been the one that has been trying to get Wendy off of this guardianship ever since. You know, the family took a hold of her, even though she does stay in a sober living facility, not sober living, but she stays in a facility in New York, and her family is all down in Florida. However, the cousin comes up there, and I think she's also, you know, the son also helps take care of her and all that, but you know, keeps in touch with her and all that. They all decided to become a part of her life, really, and try to really help her get from under this. So we saw once they started being involved, hey sir, we saw once they started getting involved, you know, that Wendy was looking better. They got her sober, cleaned up, and even though we can still see that Wendy has, like, you know, some issues and all, they're saying that, you know, Wendy does not now have this frontotemporal dementia. Okay, that they were saying that was brought on by alcohol. It's just basically sis was just always drunk and high. Okay, and they could never even give her a proper diagnosis because, you know, she was just all over the place. But now she's sober. That's not the case anymore. They said they gave her a strict, you know, a whole bunch of different tests that would test her neurological, you know, her cognitive thinking, all of these different things. And she passed them with flying colors, which is interesting to me because I'm telling you, when you see Wendy Williams and when she would talk, you know, she could pretty much stay on task, but somewhere in that conversation, she gonna get off task, and she gonna be off on another tangent and all this. And it still seems like to me there's something that she probably don't have this dementia like they said, but you can't tell me that Wendy hasn't done damage to herself from drinking so much. So there's that. But all that being said, it is great to know that she doesn't have that. So now they're trying to get her taken off of this guardianship. So her legal team was given this information about a month or so ago. I think they said in September. And now the legal team is preparing paperwork to go to court in a couple of weeks to ask the judge to remove her from this guardianship. If the judge does not do that, then they're going to ask for a jury trial so that a jury can make the decision whether or not she needs to be removed from this guardianship. Something tells me it's going to go to I don't know. It just feels like the judge does not want to let her go. And I mean, I have questions too. You know, we think about Britney Spears and how we all really wanted Britney Spears to be off of guardianship. And we haven't heard no stories about Britney Spears, but you know, like when you see her, you just still feel like something is a little off. Okay. But I will say that, you know, Britney Spears, we ain't got no stories about her fucking up her money or nothing like that. I mean, we've heard other stories about Britney Spears, but I'm sure that Britney Spears still has some help there, you know. Maybe they can get it so that Wendy can be, if they're going to have some sort of guardianship or some sort of person that helps her along with her finances, at least it could be somebody like her niece in the family that can do that. I mean, I think that it's her money to spend, and let her, you know, if somebody is there willing to help her, then let that happen. So yeah, I mean, that's very good to know. But I still don't think that Wendy is going to be like purple chair Wendy, how you doing, you know, sitting down on the show or anything like that. I think that those days are long gone. But it still makes me feel good to know that, you know, she'll at least be with her money and she can live the kind of life that she should be living, considering she worked all her life to, you know, amass the money that she's had. She should be able to enjoy the fruits of her labor, right? All right, so that's what they're saying, and we'll see. We'll see what the judge says in 2 weeks, and then if that goes on to the jury, I guess we'll see what the jury has to say. But what do you guys think? Do you guys think that Wendy should be let loose with her money, or do you think we still need a little observation, a little something, or should she just flat out be still kept on this guardianship? Y'all let me know what you think, and I'm moving on to the next story. All right, Antonio Brown, y'all, AB, the football player. I don't know much about him. All I know is that, you know, anytime he's in the news media, it's always like, what did he do now? Well, I saw last week when they said that they were extraditing him and bringing him back from Dubai to the United States, and they were going to be charging him with attempted murder. And I was just like, oh, well, that sounds like a bit much for a football player. I mean, you know, yes, he be on social media and he likes attention and all that shit, but I didn't peg him as a damn murderer. So what is this story about? Well, apparently they arrested him, but he was granted bond, $25,000. The judge just let him out. And yeah, you guys, so basically they're saying that he was at some sort of event in Miami back in the summer, or in May, I should say. And when he was there, he got into it with somebody, and there was kind of like a scuffle. And then there was the security guard that also was trying to get into it with him. And so he was tussling around with the security guard. The security guard had a gun on his waistband. Antonio Brown took the gun from him. And then he went on to shoot at this non-tombo or something like this. Okay. I was like, isn't that a basketball player? I'll never get these stories mixed up. But anyway, he just shot at this man. Okay. So that is where the attempted murder charge came from. I think Antonio Brown said that he was defending himself, that he was feeling like he was being ambushed or something, that people were coming after him, and, you know, all this fighting and tussling and shit. What he was, you know, he did the best thing that he could do. He saw a gun, he took it from this man, and he shot. But he's saying that he wasn't shooting at anybody in particular. He was just trying to get motherfuckers off of him. Okay. But of course they're saying that he actually shot at this non-tombo gentleman. So that is that. The judge, though, seems to think that he's all right. You know, the prosecution was trying to say that he's a flight risk and they needed to keep him in jail. And, you know, the judge didn't see it that way, even though they had to extradite him from Dubai. He had flown to Dubai and he was at a party out there. But I guess the judge was probably saying like, well, he didn't know that he was being charged with attempted murder at the time. So, you know, he was out there okay, legitimately. So, but the judge doesn't see him as a flight risk, even though the prosecution was like, he has access to a lot of money. He's a football player or ex-football player, you know. But yeah, the judge didn't see it that way. $25,000, the man is out on bond until he goes back to court. Okay. So, yeah, that's what they saying about old Antonio Brown. Y'all let me know what you think about that. And let's move on to the next story. Okay, Blueface, Chrisean. Listen, I'm not going to be talking about these folks every week. This is going to be it. Because anytime you talk about them too much, next thing you know, they all over your fucking timeline. And I had such peace in my life not having to talk about them for the last, you know, couple of years that Blueface been in jail. But now that the man is out of jail, here we go with the foolishness again. Okay, just straight up full of fucking niggotry. First, Steve Wilkos, he said that he had gotten a call from Chrisean on the recording, you know, saying that she wanted to come on the show. And he didn't know who Chrisean was, but he talked to his wife, you know, and his wife was trying to see about maybe getting her and Blueface on the show, but he didn't know who she was, and he just was amazed at the response, you know, because everybody was like, oh, go on and have him on your show. It's going to be all kind of drama. It's going to be this. It's going to be that. Okay. Well, Chrisean has come out and said, you know, she was not the one that called, which I don't believe that Chrisean was the one that called. Somebody apparently must have called and left that message. I just don't see the girl doing that, okay? But because she's always said that Blueface was the father, and we've heard that they had a paternity test. Like, I've heard things, and then I haven't heard things. There's so many people walking in front of the car today, you guys. But anyway, usually I can be in stealth mode but today I have the air conditioner on because it's a little warm. But anyway, you guys, so she was like, she didn't call. She just be like, bro, I was over here. Like, I'm not going out there. I'm not going to this, you know, keep my name out your mouth. Like, Steve, bro, I didn't call, you know, I'm not trying to go there. Like, I'm getting married. I stay out the way, you know. She don't go out there. She don't fool with Blueface, you know. She bought this land in Baltimore and she's gonna build her compound out there. You know, the only time she going to LA is if she making money, and then she take her ass back to Baltimore. Like, you know, just leave her alone. I would love to think that she's telling the truth, but you know, that shit with Blueface and Chrisean, it's just so much foolishness. And then of course we got Blueface. I saw a video of Hazel Lee of all people dancing on him. I was like, what the fuck? Hazel Lee, how old is Hazel Lee? She got to be good in her 40s, okay? Close to her, no, maybe her late 30s, early 40s. Like, she ought to be, she old the fuck enough to know that she should not be dealing with no damn Blueface. Like, how the fuck old are you that you dealing with this nigga? And then what do you see out of him? I mean, he done went into jail. He's fucked up his face. He got all them tattoos all over him. That Hazel Lee is still trying to get a bag. That Hazel Lee is still trying to get clout. You know, that Hazel Lee, just embarrassing. And then when you see them together, you know, oh yeah, this my lady. He called her a fucking golden retriever. Hazel Lee, girl, that is not a compliment. Yeah, you know, he's my 101 Dalmatian. With all that shit all over his damn face. Girl, you ought to be ashamed of yourself. I know one damn thing. You better watch out when Chrisean and her baby come after your ass, because they gonna beat your ass. Chrisean and the baby, because you know she always got that baby with her. It don't matter what. But I just was like, oh, Chrisean, Hazel Lee, you just watch that fucking beak. That's what you need to do, honey. You need Masika in here to talk real bad about Hazel Lee. Can't nobody talk about Hazel Lee like that damn Masika can. You know, I don't really like Masika. That bitch is funny when it comes to that Hazel Lee. Anyway, you guys, just so much circus over there. I don't follow none of them. I have seen videos where Blueface has the baby and all that, and I think him and Krishan were together. But, you know, let Krishan say it. There's nothing there. You know, she's getting married. She has a boyfriend. Okay. And we even saw the pie face girl, his other baby mama, like, I ain't nobody said that my baby can be around a crackhead. You know, I'm on my way over there. And although she did look much nicer. Okay, looked good, all put together and everything. But yeah, just drama, just foolishness. And I ain't even gonna bring up nothing else on that topic that I would like to talk about, because I'm just, you know, my mama always told me, if you ain't got shit good to say, then don't say nothing else. But you guys know what I want to talk about, don't you? Anyway, y'all, that's it on Blueface, Krishan, the baby, and that damn Hazel Lee. Hazel Lee, of all people, child, that was not on my bingo card. I did not expect Hazel Lee to be dancing and grinding up. Just look as stupid. Yeah, ain't that right? Y'all gonna do some music together? Hey, we was just listening to my music the other day, Blue? Yeah, we was. I was just like, girl, you ought to be embarrassed. Fucking around with these damn kids. Anyway, you guys, I'm gonna move on from that story. Next. I guess in quickies, you guys, Kevin Gates, such an embarrassment. Like, you just, nigga, first of all, Kevin is what, 39 years old? His girlfriend is 26 years old. That's not really a big difference. I was expecting this girl to be like 19, 20 when they was talking, because I don't think Kevin is even above that, okay? But the fact that he's up now, first of all, he up here talking about, yeah, you know, ain't nobody trying to be with no washed up ass pussy. You know, ain't no, you know, yeah, I'm old enough to be her daddy. Yeah, you know, ain't nobody going to the used car aisle. And I was just like, I'm so sad that there are men that actually think this way. Or, you know, you can think this way, but for you to actually speak it out loud and everything. I know Kevin Gates fancies himself as a person that's just going to say whatever the fuck is on his mind, but I mean, I guess we shouldn't be that shocked. Didn't Kevin the one that said he slept with the cousin and all of that stuff and stood 10 toes down on it? So why should we be shocked that this man is sitting up here, like Brittany said, trying to embarrass his ex-wife, which is not, you not embarrassing this woman, you are embarrassing yourself. I'm sure that Drika is probably glad that she escaped whatever the fucking spell that man had on that woman for all them years. She done finally got up from under that, filed for divorce, and they going through that. So apparently now he is trying to say these things because they were on live and somebody was asking about their age difference and all that. So that's what set him off, him and the new girlfriend. Again, I don't even think 26 or 39 is that big of a deal. I was more embarrassed of the fact that the girl was sitting there kind of, you know, first she was shocked, but when he doubled down on it afterwards and on a different live, you know, and she was kind of laughing and everything, I was just like, girl, you stupid too, because you old enough to know better now, okay? 26, you old enough. And for you to just, like, I just was like, it just amazes me. But it's the age-old way when men get young girls, because they know that they can't get away with that shit with a bitch that's already established and got some damn sense about herself. You know, that shit has been happening, you know, for years and years and years and hundreds of years. Men get with young girls because of that. But yeah, I just was like, oh, that Kevin child, he's just What's the word, or while we talking about relationships, what's the word on Tayana and Aaron Pierre? Ain't seen them together. Remember I told you guys that it felt like it was a little bit love bombing-ish. It was just way too much, way too fast. And I don't know if I really wanted it to work out, because they look great together. But I feel like maybe they aren't together anymore. Either that, or they finally got sense enough to take their relationship off of social media, because, you know, too many people be in your business and all that. But, you know, Tayana has been the woman of the hour. We've seen her on countless red carpets and fashion shows and doing all of this, and no Aaron. So I just was asking y'all, do y'all know anything about that? And lastly, you guys, Ray J is so fucking embarrassing. He also got him a young girlfriend that's stupid over there laughing and shit. Well, actually, she ain't laughing, but she's still over there dealing with his foolishness. And I'm just like, girl, you old enough to know better too. Now, Ray J was on live, and he was talking about how he loved his new girlfriend and everything, but he also really just loved Prinky, and he wished that he was still there with her. Which we all know this is the reason why Ray J is the way that he is, because Prinky finally put her foot down and was like, I'm done. And this nigga been spiraling ever since. Okay. But I know I 100% believe that he wants to be home with Prinky. Prinky said no more. She done got off of that fucking merry-go-round, you know. And now this girlfriend got to deal with it, you know. She's sitting up there crying, and why are you so mean to me? And, you know, telling him he smell like pussy juice, and he ain't took a bath in weeks, and he laughing. And I was just like, why would anybody sit down why would you put yourself, I would be so embarrassed. I would be so embarrassed if that was my kid doing that, on either side, you know. Just like, what is it? I know that King Sonia over there got to be just so done, just so through. You guys saw how he was at the concert that they had in LA, the Boy Is Mine concert, and he came out there and Brandy gave him a hug and everything. Yeah, Brandy love her brother. But Brandy know her brother, okay? That hug ain't did shit. Everybody was like, oh, that's all he needed was his healing from his sister. You know, oh, they just needed that. I mean, I love to see that these two are together. And I'm sure Brandy loves her brother. But the nigga is crazy. And he's still out there just Ray J and as usual, child. That's that. Somebody go get your girl. If you friends with that girl that Ray J is seeing, y'all go get your home girl. And let her get her off of this mess. Okay? All right. All right, you guys, that's that on that. Let me get on off of here. We do this every single week, so make sure you thumbs up the video, comment, and subscribe, and make sure you come back. Till next time, Roxstars. Bye.